Károly Takács was a man who not only represented Hungary in the sport of shooting, but who became an embodiment of resilience, strength, and an unwavering will to overcome the most unimaginable obstacles. His life and career are a testament to the power of the human spirit, the indomitable drive to succeed, and the discipline required to turn despair into triumph. Takács' story is far more than a simple tale of an Olympic gold medalist. It is the story of how a man, who faced an extreme and crushing personal tragedy, rose above it all, finding a way to change the course of history, proving that no matter what life throws at you, your dreams are always worth fighting for. Károly Takács was born in 1910 in Hungary. Károly Takács was a man of uncommon talent and discipline from the very beginning. A member of the Hungarian army, Takács had the privilege of being trained by some of the most skilled marksmen. By 1936, he was already widely regarded as one of the top pistol shooters in the world. In fact, many thought him to be the best of his generation. The Olympics were calling, and Takács was ready to answer that call. However, there was a roadblock he had to overcome. The Hungarian military at the time had strict policies about who could represent the country at the Olympics. Because Takács was only a sergeant, he was denied permission to compete in the 1936 Berlin Olympics. It was a crushing blow to Takács' dreams. He had put in years of practice, and now he was being told that his chance to compete on the world's grandest stage would have to wait. But Takács didn't give up. The Olympic Committee eventually lifted the restriction, and Takács' path was now clear to pursue his dream in the 1940 Tokyo Olympics. The world had high expectations for him. As he trained with dedication and focus, the world saw a man on the verge of greatness, the golden future of Hungarian shooting sports. But life, it seemed, had other plans. Takács' Olympic dreams were about to face an unimaginable obstacle, one that would test every ounce of his willpower. In 1938, while taking part in a routine army exercise, the unthinkable happened. A grenade, which was being used in training, malfunctioned and exploded in Takács' right hand. The impact of the blast left his hand utterly destroyed. Takács was rushed to the hospital, but the prognosis was grim. His right hand, the hand that had carried him to the brink of Olympic greatness, was gone, rendered useless. Imagine the devastation that must have consumed Takács at that moment. Not only had he lost the use of his dominant hand, but with it, he also lost the very tool that had allowed him to hone his skills for years. His dream of competing in the 1940 Olympics appeared shattered, the foundation of his entire career crumbling beneath him. The injury was so severe that Takács would never again use his right hand for shooting. For anyone else, this would have been the end of their journey, the final chapter of their story. But not for Károly Takács. After spending a month in the hospital recovering, Takács found himself at a crossroads in his life. He had lost his hand, and with it, he believed, perhaps his entire identity. Yet, as he lay in the quiet hospital room, the flame of his Olympic dream still flickered in his heart. It wasn't a matter of whether he could recover physically, it was a matter of whether he could recover mentally and emotionally from such a devastating setback. It would have been easy to walk away, to abandon the sport and fade into obscurity. But Takács had something inside him that could not be extinguished, an unyielding determination. Takács had spent his life sharpening his mind and body to achieve excellence. This discipline didn't vanish simply because of an accident. Takács had the resolve to rise from the ashes, to rebuild himself, and to redefine what was possible. A few months after his injury, during the 1939 Hungarian National Pistol Championship, Takács made a surprise appearance. The other competitors assumed he had come to watch, to observe the event, perhaps out of some bittersweet desire to reconnect with the sport he had loved. They offered their condolences, expressing how happy they were to see him at the event. But Takács wasn't there to spectate. He was there to compete. To everyone's shock, When it was his turn, Takács picked up the pistol with his left hand. He fired shot after shot, the crowd watching in stunned silence. And as the shots rang out, each one hit the bullseye. It was almost beyond belief. How could someone who had just lost the use of his right hand, someone who was now forced to shoot with his non-dominant hand, perform so flawlessly? Takács, in that single moment, sent a powerful message to the world. Nothing could break his spirit. Despite the incredible setback, he emerged victorious, winning the championship and proving to himself and everyone around him that true champions find a way to win, no matter the odds. Takács' victory at the national championship was just the beginning of his remarkable story, but life had more obstacles in store for him. In 1940, when the Tokyo Olympics were scheduled to take place, World War II erupted, and the Games were cancelled. The flames of Takács' dream were once again extinguished by forces beyond his control. He would have to wait. Years passed, and Takács kept training, hoping and dreaming that he would one day have the chance to prove himself on the Olympic stage. But in 1944, the world was still at war, and the Olympics were once again cancelled. Takács, now in his late 30s, had seen his dreams delayed again and again. By now, many thought his chance had passed. His body was aging, his prime was behind him, and the opportunities he had longed for seemed to be slipping away. Then, in 1948, after a decade of waiting, the Olympics were finally set to resume. The Games were to be held in London, and Takács, now 38 years old, was once again a part of them. But the world had moved on. Takács was no longer the favorite to win. The reigning world champion approached him, perhaps out of politeness, and asked what his goal was. Takács, ever humble, replied, "I'm here to learn." Yet, despite this unassuming response, Takács wasn't just there to observe. He was there to compete and to win. And win he did. In a stunning display of skill and determination, Károly Takács claimed the gold medal in the rapid-fire pistol event, not only defeating his competitors, but also setting a world record. His performance stunned the entire Olympic community. The man who had once been written off as a mere memory from a past generation had, against all odds, risen to the top once again. Standing on the podium, gold medal around his neck, Takács had finally achieved what he had dreamed of for so long. The years of struggle, the unimaginable loss, the endless hours of practice, and the emotional and physical toll had all come to this moment of glory. Takács had not only achieved his goal, but he had also redefined what was possible. His story was no longer just about an Olympic victory. It was about the resilience of the human spirit, the power of perseverance, and the fact that anything is possible if you refuse to quit. But Takács' journey didn't end there. He returned to the Olympics in 1952 at the age of 42 and won gold again in the same event. Takács' ability to perform at the highest level, despite his age and the incredible odds against him, solidified his place in Olympic history. He became the only athlete to win Olympic gold in the same event with both hands. His left hand, that he had learned to use out of necessity, and his right hand, that had once seemed lost forever. Takács' legacy is not just about his gold medals, it is about what he represents, a symbol of strength, perseverance, and unwavering dedication. His story is a powerful reminder that obstacles are not barriers. They are opportunities to redefine our limits and to reach for new heights. He showed the world that no matter how painful, how difficult, or how impossible things may seem, there is always a way forward. There is always a way to turn your greatest setback into your greatest comeback. Why should I mourn the hand I lost? Takács once said, "Let me see what I can do with the one I have." These words encapsulate his philosophy on life, and they are a guiding light for anyone who faces adversity. Károly Takács was not just a man who won Olympic gold. He was a man who taught the world how to rise again, how to keep going, and how to transform pain into power. His story continues to inspire generations of athletes and non-athletes alike. Károly Takács will forever be remembered as a legend, one of the greatest champions the world has ever known.